Okay, just suppose we want to have the multi-line string. So now if I write something here, you have to point out a note here that I haven't pressed the enter uh, to go to the next line, but it's just went there because there were no space on the previous line. So just you have to remember that point together. Okay, now I have told you to note the point that I haven't pressed any right, so it just work well for the multi-line. Okay, but if I want to have the multi-line if I want to change the line by myself, now I want to put a press an enter here, so it gonna give me the error now because I haven't pressed the enter, so it haven't considered this as a multi-line string. Now as I press the enter, it will consider it as a multi-line. Now what you need to do is, for multi-line you have to write 3 semicolons. You have the 3 single columns, or you can also use the double column as well. So now if I press enter anywhere, it will be fine, it will work fine. It doesn't give me any type of error. Okay, so that was the point. Okay, so what's the next thing was the spread operator. What does the spread operator does? The spread operator will spread out the element of an array, fluttering them, and this will be familiar to the JavaScript developers. Okay, what does the spread operator do? Okay, first of all, you need to know that it work with the list, it work with the set, and it work with the map. All right, so what it does, it just it just combine them. If you want to add two lists, the typical way of doing it that you have to use the add all method for it, but spread operator make it simpler to do the same thing. I have a list 1 L, okay, and I have a list result. You can see that with the spread operator, that are the 3 dots, I have add the list L in the list result. Okay, now I can add the other elements too if I want. Now it will work fine, it's gonna show me the result. But if I want to add one more list, what can I now? I want to add the same thing at the end of this list by 3 dot. Now I will write the L2, which will eventually add the L2 list to the result list. This is how we can add the list without doing all the methods like add all and all that, the typical method. You can do it simply by using the spread operator. So the next topic is map. What is a map? First value will be the key, second is gonna be the value of that key. Whenever you call the key, in return you will display that value. Okay, first value is key and second value is value of that key. Here we do type their data types, first for the key and second for the value. Alright, we set the value of the map with the curly brackets, remember that. So this is how you map the key and the value. Okay, this is how you call the map. Okay, the person is our map, and in person we have the key. We have the 3 keys, 1, 2 and 3, and each key is assigned with its value, string value. And I want to know what is in the key of 1, so it will give me George in return. So whenever you call the key, it will return its value. Alright, this is the whole idea of the map. Okay, the next topics is the functions or objects. Okay, it just means to say that you can do anything with the functions, because as they are the objects, you can pass them as a parameter of another object. You can set the equal to the variable, and you can do pretty anything with it. Okay, so let me show you the example of that. Okay, as you can see here, I pass the say hi function as a data, as a data around, and while it's object, you can use it. So its functions are the object in the dot. You can pass it as a data to any other variable, and you can use it in the parameters of any functions, and you can do pretty a lot of things with it. I just gave you the example that the function or the object, and you can use it wherever you want and however you want. See, in v2 functions, I set is equal to the say hi function, so it's equal to the say hi function, and so that's why me2 and the say are both of the same thing. Actually, I have assigned this function is equal to the say hi, me2 is equal to the say hi, so it will take the string value and it will do this thing whatever we have written in the say hi function. Now the next topic is big arrow or the fat arrow. Okay, it is just simple thing. Okay, as you can see here that I have written this like this, but I can do the same thing here. Let me just tell you, it will work the same way as and equal sign. Okay, and print. So this is called the big arrow or the fat arrow. Okay, the big arrow or the fat arrow do the same thing as curly brackets do. It just means the same code, but it's like just a sugar for that. Okay, the next topic is named function parameters. Okay, normally we have positional parameters or positional arguments, but in Dart we do also have named parameters. Okay, what is the difference between the positional parameters and the named parameters? Okay, in positional parameters we have to follow the order of the parameters and we have given in the function. Okay, like this, we have written the name first, then the profession, then the patient. All right, it does print in the same. In profession we have an engineer, in the patient we have a vlogging, and the name we have a name George. Okay, but it can be kind of confusing when we have a lot of the parameters. So we also have a name parameters in the Dart, and in which the order of the parameters you put is not important. How can we have the named parameter? All you need to do is you have to put these parameters in the curly brackets. Okay, now we can use the named parameters things. So first of all, I would like to write about my passion. All right, my passion is a vlogging. My name is George. It's not my actual name, I'm just assuming. Okay, one more thing in this, that you don't need to fill all the parameters which you have given in the function. So I can go with the 1 parameter, 2 parameter, or 3, or any of them. Alright, but is George is a terrible engineer. Okay, so this is the named parameter. This is how the named parameter works, and you can also do this do the same thing in the class constructor by doing the same, these curly brackets, by putting the parameters or the arguments into the curly brackets. Okay, so as I told you, it is discouraged in the Dart or not to use new and this keyword there. Okay, so it's totally fine if we don't use them. It just make the code bit cleaner and shorter, so it is a good practice not to use them in Dart at least. Okay, so the next topic is class constructor parameter shorthand. Class, let's make a class with the name of a person and make a string. So okay, we can write the same thing with the less code. So what do we need to do here is just copy and paste that the same code, and just delete that. Alright, and all you need to put here this email and phone. Alright, so okay, so this code and this code has the same thing. Let me tell you one more thing. automatically because okay, so you can see that we can achieve this function, the same thing with this single line of the code. So this is called the class constructor parameter shorthand. So you can do the same thing, it will work fine, it will work same. So you can just do it, and by doing it you can make your code more shorter and simpler and easy to understand. Okay, then the next topic is private class members. Okay, let me just tell you, just by adding this you can make your member of the class private. All right, so nothing more in it. Okay, the next topic is mixins. Okay, the mixins are the buckets of the properties and the methods that can be added to any class. They look like the class but cannot be initialized. Okay, let me just make a mixin for you and use it with our person class. I want to add the employment properties. I want to add a couple more properties with the person, but I don't want to add but I want to use those properties as well as in other classes too. So what do I do? I will make a mixin employ, so string, and we do have a method too. Okay, so this is our mixin. This is how can we make our mixin. It is pretty much similar to the class. It just pretty much looks similar to the class, but we cannot initialize it. Okay, but you can use these properties with any classes you want. I want to use it with the person class. Okay, so how can I use the properties of the employment with the class with the person class? I will write with to use the properties of our employment mixin meant. Okay, so I can use the properties of employment within my class, person class. So how can we use that? Now we're gonna use it with first of all we will initialize our class. Okay, for now I don't want to give any property to it, so just leave that. Now what you're gonna do is person dot. Now you can see we can use the properties business phone, employer, and the class we have car bossman. That these are the properties of the employment mixin, and we are using these properties with the person class. That's how it works. Okay, let me just make another class. Okay, I'm a student. Alright, okay, if I just simply use the class student. Okay, so okay, I will just initialize the class. Now student dot, see, you can use the properties of the mixin in your class. So this is how the mixin work, and you can use it anywhere. You can use these properties anywhere, everywhere you want it with any class. Okay, and one more thing, dot, like the Java and the C# only supports a single inheritance. So a class can only extend one thing, but the mixin members are added to a class, so any class can implement the multiple mixins, and a mixin can be used in the multiple other class. So that's the deal, my boys. Okay, the next topic is the cascade operator. Okay, I want, now the situation is I want to add the values in the variables that I have declared in my class, in my student class. So how are we gonna do that? The typical way of doing that is I will write the student object of the class, then I'm gonna call that variable, then I will write that here abc blah blah. So I set the values of the variables of the class, but the thing is this looks bit messy. We can do the same thing with a list code. Okay, let me just initialize it again. Student copy. I'm just making this another object of my class. Okay, so what do I do here? I will just write two dots here. Okay, let me, email, right, is equal to this. Okay, email equal to this data. Then you have to write again the ID. Okay, you can write the same. Just copy that stuff from here to there. Okay, now, okay, the font, you call it, okay. Now you can see the difference. We have done the same thing. This code is just the same as this code. They both are the functionality doesn't change, but this one is much, less messy. You don't need to write, you don't need to call the object again and again. Just write it once. Okay, let me just tell you one more thing. Is with the cascade operator, you can only change the values of the, you can only change the properties, you can only modify the properties. But if you want something to do other thing with that, you can't do that. You can't just do write the print, and put headphone here. You can't just do that. It doesn't work here. It just only help you to change, to modify the properties. Okay, so that was the cascade operator. Here we are with our last topic, but not the least. So there are two things in this topic: no overloading and the named constructor. So if you ever have been programming or anything like that, you probably would know that what is overloading and what does it work. Dart does not support overloading, but we do have a different thing with the same, which does the same function as the overloaded constructor do. And what are that thing? That thing is the named constructor. It does actually work same as the overload constructor. Okay, so what do you need to do? This is the constructor, this is the just constructor, and I want to have a second constructor, or the named constructor. Okay, so the name constructor will like that. Student, we go with the student dot written details, email, and okay, we have error here, and this phone. Okay, this constructor will ask you your ID. That's it. So how would you call those constructors? Okay, no parameter, we are good here. Now, okay, as you can see that that we have one class, and we have just made the three constructors. Now we haven't done any type of overloading, because Dart doesn't support the overloading. So instead of that, we have a name constructor, and we have made the two name constructors. Constructor I have just used. Okay, as you can see that we can use these named constructors. Okay, since we can't have overloaded constructors, Dart support a different way of doing essentially the same thing, and they are called the named constructors, and they happen when you write a typical constructor, but you take on a dot and another name, just that. So with the same functionality, we can do the same thing as overloading, but with the name constructors. So that's it for this topic. So in the end, we do have a conclusion that we have learned enough about the Dart to start the Flutter app development, and I can't claim that we have learned everything about the Dart, but enough to start out to getting started on the Flutter. So if you really find it helpful, if you really find it worthy, and if you really find it helpful, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe the channel. I will really appreciate that. And bye bye, take care.